Hi guys, in this video we will look at chapter 1, coordinate, graph and lines. So here is the subtopic for chapter 1. First we'll look at inequalities. Second we'll look at absolute value and inequalities, complex numbers, coordinate geometry, and finally circle and parabola. So 1.1 inequalities. Under inequalities we will look at linear inequalities, quadratic inequalities, and finally rational inequalities. So here is the inequality symbol with example and illustration on interval notation and real number line. So this is the inequality symbols. So first is greater than or equals to, less than or equal to. Next, we will look at included and not included symbols. So if let's say first we look at the form. So this is an inequalities form. So here is the not included symbol. So this is less than or this is greater than. Whereas this is included symbol, which is less than or equals to or greater than or equals to. Next, the interval form. For not included symbols, we will use round bracket. So here is the round bracket. Whereas for included symbol, we will use square bracket. So here is the square bracket. Finally, for real number line, we will use a small circle for not included symbol and a dot for included symbol. Don't worry. Next, we'll look at some example. So first, we'll look at greater than. So the symbol of greater than is in this form. For example, if x is greater than -1. So you can see that if x is greater than -1, so it means that x is negative, is not included -1. We can say that, let's say from 0, 1. So it means that x can be, of course, we can say that, let's say it's a whole number. Let's say it's start from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth until positive infinity. So in terms of interval notation, since this is not included, so we can see that this is not included. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a square bracket and a small circle for not included symbol. So this is for interval notation, whereas this is for real number line. So in terms of interval notation, since this is not included, so this is start from -1 until positive infinity. Positive infinity cannot be included because this is infinity. So whereas from -1, some of us may ask, why don't we start from 0 until infinity? But this is wrong. Why? So because if x is greater than -1, x can be -0.99 or -0.98, 0.98, and let's say -0.5, and so on. So what we have to do is we still need to start from -1 until infinity. And here we know that if -1, this symbol means that not included, -1. So in terms of real number line, so we're going to use a small circle. So here is the value of -1. Since the number is getting bigger and bigger, so the arrow will moving to the right hand side. So this is not included -1. Next, we look at some example. Another more example. Second is greater than or equals to. So the symbol will be in this symbol, greater than or equals to. So for example, x is greater or equals than 2. So in this case, 2 is included. So for included, we will use square bracket and a dot for real number line. So for interval notation, so x is greater than 2, greater or equals than greater than or equals to 2. So x can be 2, 3, 4, and so on until positive infinity. But this time 2 is included. So we're going to use a square bracket. So square bracket from 2 until positive infinity. So here is not included. Again, you have to remember for infinity cannot be included because the number is still going and going and going on. Next, the real number line. Since 2 is included, so we are going to use a dot. So greater than means that until positive infinity. That's why the arrow is pointing towards the right hand side. Third, less than. So this is the symbol of less than. For example, let's say x less than 5. So from here, let's say as a whole number, x, let's say from negative less than 5. So x can be 4. Let's say start from 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1 until this time is negative infinity because the value is getting smaller and smaller. So in interval form or interval notation, our negative infinity, which is the smaller value, we have to put on left hand side. So if you do in this way, x until negative infinity, this is wrong because the smaller value must put on left hand side and the greater value must be put on right hand side. So from negative infinity against negative infinity cannot be included until positive 5. In this question, 5 is not included. That's why we are using round bracket. For real number line, so a circle for not included. So here is the value of 5. Because the value is getting smaller and smaller, so the arrow will pointing to the left hand side. You can see that here, let's say here is -4, -4, -3. So sorry, this is not -4. Here will become, let's say 4, 3, so on, and then we have here 0. Let's say here we have -1 until negative infinity. So if the value is getting smaller and smaller, so this will be pointing to the left. Finally, we look at less than or equals to. So here is the symbol less than or equals to. For example, x less than or equals to 0. So x can be 0 because this is less than again. So this is -1, -2, -3 until negative infinity. So here again, there's more or less like example 3 before this slide. So the only difference is now is included. So for included, we are going to use square bracket. And here is the dot and pointed to the left because the value is getting smaller and smaller. So this is some introduction for inequality symbols that you have to know because it's going to use in solving linear inequalities, quadratic inequalities, and rational inequalities.